Hey guys, my name is Matimio, and recently I have gone back and played just an absurd amount of Planetside 2. I was excited to learn that you guys were thrilled that I'm bringing back more Planetside 2 gameplay to my channel. You guys enjoyed the content, and honestly, I was glad to hear it because recently I have just been enjoying the hell out of this game. I don't know if you guys have experienced this or have this same type of mentality when you play certain video games, but every once in a while, I'll play a game, I'll have so much fun, I'll think about that game later on when I'm doing normal daily tasks, when I'm like eating dinner or something like that, and then I'll think to myself, man, I want to go play that game right now, and then I'll get excited to finish my dinner to go play that game, and that doesn't happen very often for me, and I don't know if you guys have experienced this as well, but right now, I just get excited to jump in and play Planetside 2. I know I'm going to have some epic warfare experience, I know that I'm going to do well because of the game mechanics themselves, and I'm in for a good time. And speaking of a good time, what you guys are seeing right now is I decided to kind of switch things up and play as the Light Assault. My class of choice has been the Medic class. I use the stock weapon, I think it's an amazing setup, the class is extremely powerful, but I noticed that I have like 800 kills with that stock weapon. I was like, alright, maybe I should switch things up a bit and try out the Light Assault. And man, was I glad that I did. I was able to take advantage of the jetpacks to get on top of rooftops to kind of rain death down upon the enemy. I was able to flank around, jump over walls to catch them by surprise, and just rake in the kills, like just absolutely destroy the enemy team. And what's so much fun about this game is that if you are able to flank your enemy, I don't know if it's just because of the players themselves, but you are highly rewarded for doing those tasks. Even if it takes you a good couple of minutes to get that flank off, if you're good about it and you know what you're doing, you usually get rewarded for those maneuvers. And honestly, this was just a great example of it. I mean, I wasn't going completely out of my way to flank the enemy team, but I knew that the enemy was around a certain area. I would jump up onto a rooftop. You know, it's not exploiting, like that's what the jetpacks are for, and that is what the Light Assault is all about, is to get on these rooftops and to kind of flank the enemy. And if you do it and you know what you're doing, as you guys can see, you can just dominate the enemy team. And I think what's contributing just to my overall enjoyment right now, Planetside 2, is the netcode itself. When Planetside 2 first came out, it was a pretty rocky start. The engine was not well optimized, there was a lot of frame rate issues, the netcode wasn't amazing, but over the last year, they have done a lot to tighten the gameplay, they have done a lot to optimize their engine, and right now, whenever I get into a firefight, it feels fair. It's like I get hit markers when I shoot at them, I get notified when I'm getting shot at, and there's only been a select few occasions where I've traded with an enemy. And if you guys have played Battlefield 4, that is a very common occurrence right now. And while I know that DICE has gone in and they've tried to kind of tighten things up and they've done their best to tighten the netcode where trading doesn't happen as often, I would say that they've done a better job with it in the most recent patch, but it's still a very large issue. And there's been a lot of videos kind of explaining why this is a problem. And I don't know if DICE is going to be able to solve this, at least in the next couple of months. I mean, hopefully, I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but the way that things have been kind of going is that the game's been out for over 2 months right now, and there are still these very large glaring issues. And so to jump into Planetside 2, honestly, I shouldn't even need to talk about this. Like, for a first-person shooter, it needs a tight netcode for it to be competitive, or just to be an overall awesome gameplay experience. And the fact that Battlefield 4 just doesn't deliver, and the fact that Planetside 2 does, just makes it all that more appealing. Another thing that I've always appreciated about Planetside 2 is the constant tug-of-war that's happening between the three factions. Here is an amazing example of it. You know, I was running around as the Light Assault. We were able to take this little outpost, but the enemy, after we were able to secure the base, was having none of it. They basically just mobilized about 1,000 tanks, they rolled on in, and pretty much just slapped us in the face. There was almost nothing we could do about it. They overrun the base, and while I felt like I did a reasonably good job at kind of giving them a run for their money, I was taking out as many infantry as I could. You know, I was doing my job. Just because there were so many tanks on the field, there wasn't a whole lot we could do. But even though we lost the base, it's just that tug of war where we went in, secured it, and then about 30 minutes later, the enemy team was like, nope, this is our base, and they came back and taked it. It's just such an epic part about this game. Sniping is another thing I've been dabbling settling on into. It's not just light assault all day long. And while I wouldn't say I'm an expert at this moment, I'm still struggling with trying to take out moving targets. When I'm able to get myself into a prime location, and here is a perfect example of it, where I get a nice vantage point over an enemy sender, where my faction, the Vanu, are trying to kind of push them away from one of our bases, I'm able to just destroy every single stationary target. The moving targets, as I said, was a little bit more difficult, but if I came across or I saw a medic trying to revive one of his allies, if I saw an engineer on his turret, if a heavy assault was trying to RPG or take out one of our tanks, they were easy pickings for the bolt action rifles. And while there is bullet drop in this game, this is not a hit scan game, I don't know if it's because of the bolt action rifle that I'm using, but it was fairly easy for me to take out these stationary targets, and also just extremely satisfying. I was getting back-to-back headshots, I was being a huge nuisance to the enemy team, and honestly just playing the role of the infiltrator as you're supposed to be. Like, if you're able to take out a lot of high priority targets, medics, engineers that are on stationary targets, and especially the heavy assaults that are trying to take out your tanks, which are extremely valuable resources, like you do not want your tanks to die because they cost a lot, and trying to get more tanks on the battlefield is going to take a very long time just because of the way that the resources are managed. If you are successful in taking out those high priority targets, you are just an enormous help for your team. And while I don't want to say that I was the keystone or, you know, the one only guy that won that fight and was able to push out the enemy, but I do want to think that I was a contributing factor, that I was kind of a piece in the puzzle that allowed my team to push out, take out their Sunder, and move on to the next base. So if you can't tell, I am still just absolutely enthralled with Planetside 2. I'm loving the game right now, and maybe it's just because I'm kind of in the honeymoon stage, which doesn't make sense because I played this game during the beta and then a couple of months after, but I'm having fun, and that's what's important. But yeah, guys, that is about it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and so until tomorrow, have a good one, and take it easy.